event is what I think he's trying to say, but
To
it
the
almost sounds like
douchebags?
he's saying, it almost sounds like he's saying, why wouldn't you let this guy in the event?
Partially, but why wouldn't that guy just leave it alone? I think that, the dude was looking for trouble.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, it was just kind of weird. So I just want to make sure we were.
Yeah, he did leave that open to interpretation. I agree with you. I think you could read that both ways.
I think it's, you got to be a lot more. You have to be very, very specific when you're giving an opinion like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, okay.
Maybe he's just trying to be an unbiased reporter, which apparently nobody can handle.
But if you're putting your opinion at the end, it's not. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. You've left. Yeah, you've editorialized. You're not a reporter anymore.
So
correct. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, it seems like the guy's column is an editorial, but it was just weird because he was like, I don't know, and honestly, I don't even think that should really be the talking point of it. It's really about this situation.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. He could totally side with the dude, and I would still want to talk about the article.
Certainly.
So, I mean, if you guys want to talk about something else, I'm cool.
I'm cool with it. It's a little it's not really controversial. The guy's a douchebag.
We have two viewers.
Ooh.
2 viewers. Hello, viewers. Is Jeff McKinney one of them? Couldn't be. Jeff McKinney never watches this show.
That's why we never say hi to him.
Hi, Dimitri.
Hello, Dimitri. And hello.
Sorry, and I guess there is another viewer. Dimitri does want to know what's the best post-hockey beer. So if that's something you wanted to bring up later.
Okay.
We got your back, Dimitri.
Add that to the show notes, Jeff.
Where? Ask the panel? Like, well...
Yeah, put Ask the Panel in there. Or I'll just do it. Never mind.
Okay, thank you.
I've got some answers for that. Oh, my goodness.
I'm a little tired. Dimitri, I got jury duty. I'm not going to talk about it on the show, but I want you to know. I want you to know that I'm alternate juror number 2. I'd love for Jeff McKinney to know this too. He just never watches the show.
Oh.
Do you have experience, Dimitri? Oh, Dimitri, you're in the judicial field, or you're an attorney.
We're I mean, this won't be on the podcast, but this is being recorded. This is live.
That's okay. I'm not. Yeah. Oh, okay.
3 viewers.
Nice.
I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do. Hey, everybody.
Yay! Our attendance is up 200%.
Hey, I'm fired up. I've been sitting in a room for 2 days not talking.
That's just grates on your soul, doesn't it, Sullivan?
What's that?
Oh, we lost a viewer already.
Oh, okay.
If you're in, get into the chat. All right. So we're good with that one. And then, all right. Trolls.
Trolls.
Hey,
Dimitri, have you seen these around your parts yet? So it's like it's a sparkling hoppy water. This is the one without marijuana in it.
Hey, you guys want to see something kind of cool?
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Even for the people watching, they can get a little insight into this. All right, it's going to go deep.
Oh, that's
Whoa.
Oh my God.
Is that the new website?
I need to check it out.
Oh.
Nothing works right now, but I'm just trying to get the basics of it up. But all our episodes can play it right from there.
Oh, that's so cool.
We'll have the links here to get signed up. I don't know what I'm going to put in here. I haven't figured that out there yet. I think this can be like when we're live, they can click this and go right into our YouTube feed.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's looking pretty cool, I think.
Oh man, it's like walking in a room of mirrors.
Dimitri likes it.
Excellent. All right. I'll need some time. I'm going to try and get it done by 200. But we'll see. I forgot how much of a pain in the ass it is building crap. All right.
Oh, by episode 200, I'm like, 2 in the morning? Crazy.
All right. I forgot water, so I guess I'll just have 4 roses if I get thirsty.
Oh my God.
Which is I got a cheese to have with my smoked beer, and it's one of these is a Beehive from Utah, Beehive apple smoked walnut cheese, and it says a perfect cheese for eating with a chunk of salami and a brown ale or a glass of bourbon.
Thanks.
I love the little nubs of cheese at the grocery store.
Cheese nubber. Oh, I don't have. Fuck. I don't have anything else ready. Who you guys want to hear to start the show off?
Have we had anybody involved in like dark beers? Because I envision they're all like dark beers, right?
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan would have been a good one.
We haven't had Jonathan Cooper in a while.
There you go.
Save that.
Hey, this is John Cooper from Thinking and Drinking, and you are listening to the We Like Drinking podcast, where you'll never drink alone, especially if you have to do it 2 nights in a row. Sorry. That was awesome. That was great.
That is fantastic.
The show I missed.
Was it?
Yeah, I missed. I couldn't do that one.
You were there for part 1, right?
Yeah, the lost episode.
Oh man,
the evaporated episode. I missed stabbing Chewbacca.
Oh my goodness. Yep.
Dimitri, where are you based out of again? I swear you just said to Kentucky. I know it's Kentucky. Quit typing. It's Kentucky. That or Tennessee. It's one of those. Same difference, right? Okay, Lexington, Kentucky. All right.
Lexington. The capital. Or is that Frankfurt?
All right.
No, Hartford.
Frankfurt.
That's Germany.
All right. Let's see. I'm a little quiet. John, give me a quick test.
Hello, hello, hello.
Way quiet. Jeff Solomon.
Hello, testing.
Let me try that again. Hello, hello, hello.
Home of Buffalo Trace, Lexington, Kentucky.
Was that?
That's bourbon.
All
That
right.
was in that documentary. What's that?
John, give me another test, would you?
Test. 1, 2, 3.
Damn it. Max you out here. All right. Give me another one, John.
Test. 1, 2, 3.
Well, it's going to have to do.
Wen says, test, Mike. Hello, Wen. Say hi to Dimitri, Wen. If you were in the tavern, you'd know him already.
Ouch. All right. Have to be on the Book of Faces. Wen does not do Book of Faces. All right, let's do this hot mess. All right, I'm showing 844. Here we go. Oh, no, we don't. Now, here we go.
Hey, this is John Cooper from Thinking and Drinking, and you are listening to the We Like Drinking podcast, where you'll never drink alone, especially if you have to do it 2 nights in a row. Sorry. That was awesome. That was great.
At the sound of the tone, the official We Like Drinking time will be 5 o'clock. Commence consumption.
Thank you for joining us for the award-winning We Like Drinking podcast, episode 198. In this episode, we'll be discussing more Fantasy Football League. You're welcome, Wen. Beer trolls, and we're breaking out the campfire and drinking some smoked beers. So crack open your beer, uncork that wine, and let's get drinking. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we are ready to get down with some of this booze sickness for happy hour 198 of the only 2-time award-winning topical beer and education podcast focusing on fun. What?
That was fun. I was trying to have fun.
Raspberries are fun to you. Okay. If you like what you're hearing, if you like raspberries in your ear holes, consider joining us at the Patreon program at welikedrinking.com/pledge. Find out how for as little as $1 a month, you can get even more of this award-winning content. Right?
The next after party is all raspberries. Raspberries, Zerberts, armpit farts.
Yeah. Going to be that kind of show. I could already tell. It's been a while, guy. It has been a while, I think, since it was just the three of us. So, that usually means it's a little...
That usually means trouble.
So let's find out who we are and what we're drinking. We're joined by our usual panel members. First, it still says show jerk in the... Oh. We have our wine blogger, Jeff Solomon.
Hello.
We have our commercial brewer, John Ruyak.
Hey, folks.
Finally, I am your host, Jeff Eccles. And this week is our monthly drinking episode. The Patreons have spoken. And this week we're focusing on smoked beers. A lot of interest in this episode, John. It was a good choice to put it up there. Instagram was all kinds of lit up on... I didn't even know that existed. Tell me more about it. So hopefully all those people are listening, and we're going to edumacate you here pretty quick. But first,
yeah, I've got some notes.
Good.
Yeah.
I have nothing.
I've got notes.
Oh my goodness. I hope this episode doesn't go up in smoke.
Okay, Cheech. You got the beard for it.
You do.
No, Chong. You've got the beard for Chong. Here you go.
All right. So let's walk through what we've got. We'll start with you, Jeff Solomon.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I do want to say I was pre-gaming with Hop, the sparkling hoppy water from Lagunitas. This is the version that you could buy in any store because it has 0 alcohol, 0 carbs, 0 calories, and 0 marijuana for this one. Also, I've been told that this is essentially the base beverage for the hi-fi hops that we were having a while ago. It's a nice, honestly, like a non-alcoholic beer alternative. It's not bad at all. It's kind of fun too. But for the show tonight, because that's 0 alcohol, because I might get kind of trashed on this one. This is the Karl Strauss Brewing Company 7 Sharks a Circling. This is a bomber of their holiday imperial smoked porter, coming in at 9%. So I guess it's more of like a session imperial smoked porter.
Can you show the label a little bit better for us, Jeff?
Certainly.
For our radio listeners. Oh, like that. Okay.
Yeah, cool. It's a bunch of sharks circling, and one of them's wearing a Santa hat.
Looks like sand sharks. Anyway, okay.
All right, John. What do you What do you have 6 of?
I only have 1, possibly 2. So I've got a Bamberg Germany original. This is the Acht Schlenkerler Rauchbier Marzen style. They also make a box style, but this is the Marzen, and it's just a little bit over a bottle. It's like 15 ounces or something. And we, if things go crazy, then might dip into this Alaskan smoked porter.
Ooh, that's a classic, yeah.
It is. This is a 2017, so these are collector's items. So we'll see. Oh, I've also accompanying this with a nice spread of some sausages, including, for the first time in my life, liverwurst.
Oh,
so,
wow!
I've got some sweet cheeses that are a little sweet. See if that plays off of the smokiness. And I've got some Lebanon bologna and some peppered salami. And if I don't like the liverwurst, Marley's in here to help me eat it.
God.
Holy smokes! That sounds delicious. I do want to mention I've got some Trader Joe's flatbreads. I've got what is this, like a prosciutto mozzarella, and I've got Wen would probably like this. I've got like a truffled flatbread as well.
Okay, we'll talk a little bit about more about why I'm doing this, but after our first segment.
Yes. And I am going local. I've got the Bristol Brewing Smoke Brush Porter.
That's pretty well known in Colorado.
It is pretty well known. For only one I could find. I did find there was a Game of Thrones smoked porter, but it was blended with cherry K something, not a Kolsch, but some kind of another beer.
A Cherry Creek?
Yeah, it was I think it was Cherry Creek. So I really didn't want to. I was intrigued by the Game of Thrones, but I didn't want to go with a blend tonight, so I did not get that one. All right, so that's
such a purist.
Yes. And with that, before we kill the brain cells, let's light them up with. Rape, hop, or pop culture reference. So this is where I give these guys a term, and they try to tell me if it's a wine grape, a beer hop, when, or a pop culture reference. So the term this week is Amaral. So is Amaral a wine grape, a beer hop, or some kind of pop culture reference? Jeff Solomon with your toga on, at least that's what it looks like. You just put it off.
It's a big kitchen towel.
No, it's not, folks. He's literally on the show in a toga tonight.
You guys are the worst. Amaral?
Mm-hmm.
A-M...
A-R...
A-R...
A-L.
A-M-A-R-A-L. Are there any...
A-L or O-L?
A-L.
Are there any like accentos or anything?
No accentos or umlauts or semicolons or underlines.
Tildes?
No tildes.
Okay. Amaral. Amaral. Amaral is a brand of makeup,
Okay.
which would make it a pop culture reference. It's the brand of makeup that was first used when perfecting the smoky eye.
Oh.
Well played.
I have no clue.
All right.
So I'm gonna pull a John. It's a pop culture reference.
You get a punt. All right. John Ruyak.
I think this is kind of a trick question because I think I've seen something about Amaral with like a wine spritzer type of thing. So I'm thinking it's a grape, but it could be a pop culture reference at the same time.
Okay. So
I guess I got to pick one. I think Amaral is a grape.
A wine grape. All right. Very well done, gentlemen. Amaral is, in fact, a wine grape. Well done, John Ruyak. It is a Portuguese grape, and that's all I know about it because I looked it up 35 seconds before the show started. So well done, John.
John, were you thinking about Aperol?
Maybe I was.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. That would be a pop culture reference.
I was really waiting for Jeff Solomon to go to the Armorall route.
I was thinking about that. I was going to say Armorall. Yeah, no, it's.
All right, so let's do this. Let's do this. We got a lot to talk about with this one. Smoked beers. I can't believe nobody has said something else at this point in the show by this point. But John, take us out. What in the hell is a smoked beer?
Well, a smoked beer is a beer made with some sort of smoked grist in the malt bill or the grist bill. So that could be smoked barley, could be smoked wheat. It could be just smoking everything all together in an oven. And we'll talk about that in a second. The reason I have this plate of stuff is smoked beer is a food beer. And there's really one school of thought is like, if you're going to go smoky, go all out smoky. You're going to be drinking smoked beer, so have some smoky type of stuff to go with it because it's going to complement that. Smoke's a pretty overpowering flavor. Doesn't leave room for a whole lot of other things, with maybe the exception of some sweetness. So I've got some sweet cheese to maybe test that on. So what are you talking about with smoked beers? The most famous and probably the oldest style is from Bamberg, Germany. And it's a very Baroque town. They've got 10 or 12 breweries that still produce what are known as Rauch beers. And Rauch, R-A-U-C-H, is German for smoke. And what they do is they actually kiln and dry the malts over smoking beechwood. So that's how the you malt the grains and it sprouts, and then you stop it by heating it up. And they do that by doing that in a malt house, which heated and dried with this smoke. There is also oak smoked barley available, but in Bamberg they use almost exclusively beech. There's a lot of beech forests around the area, so hey, we're going to use what we have, right? Typical.
Are there any requirements that they that they have to use, that they have to actually smoke something, or can they pour in like that cooking smoke crap?
No, they all do it legit.
Okay.
I don't think it's a question of whether they can or not. I think it says it. This on here says it complies with the Reinheitsgebot. But anyway, they don't. And some places, this brewery does their own maltings. They have their own malt house. So they're everything. So there's a number of breweries in Bamberg that do it. The best known in the U.S. are this Acht, Schlenkerla, and there's also, you might see, Kaiserdom Rauch beer. I've had that. I couldn't drink it. That was like way over the top. Route beers are going to tend to be somewhere in the mid 4s to 6 ABV range. This one I think is, I don't even know. I think it was like 5, 6 or 6%. And the IBUs are kind of like an afterthought. They can run 20 to 30, but you're not going to taste hops in this beer. They only put the hops in as a matter of preserving the beer itself, the preservative properties of hops. So that's the thing. And route beer is mostly consumed before lunch. This is a breakfast beer. Goes great with eggs and sausage. Just, can you imagine a plate of well done scrambled eggs with a little bit of vegetables in it and some sort of grilled sausage or pan seared sausage with this? Just
it all sounded good until you said well done scrambled eggs. Like,
do
you not like eggs? Do you prefer your eggs powdered? Is what I'm asking.
No, I meant properly prepared as well.
Oh, okay. The job was well done. Okay,
correct.
Oh, right.
A lot of people
like my eggs to bounce.
A lot of people from Bamberg says it's going to take you 3 to 4 liters of this stuff to actually appreciate the taste. I don't think that's the case. I've already taken a sip of mine. And anyway, the malt bill can be anywhere from 10% to 100% smoked barley, depending on the brewery that you're there.
I know mine's a porter. I think Jeff's was a porter. John,
this is basically an Oktoberfest, a Marzen beer that's smoked.
It was made in March and kept to release in October.
Right.
We did the Märzen episode already, guys.
Yes, we did, but they actually make this year round. But it's in a Marzen style.
Okay.
Now there are other smoked beers in Germany. There's one called Rappenfels, and they actually heat stones with beechwood, and they do it the old-fashioned way. They throw the stones into the kettle to boil the wort with hot stones. And what happens is the stones retain some of the smokiness that they're heated up with. And then as they're boiling the wort, the rocks get covered with caramelized wort. And then when they're done and fermentation is started, they take those stones out and put them in the fermenter to create a secondary fermentation to dissolve all that caramelized sugar off the rocks. And that brewery, they actually own their own quarry to quarry the rocks to put into their beer, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
There's also an ancient Polish style that made kind of a comeback a couple of years ago called Gradzer or Grodzicki, which is the more Polish pronunciation of it. But Gradzer is made with smoked wheat. Dan at Lizard Tail brewed a Gradzer about 3 years ago. And Jim Myers and I both tasted it. We both liked it. Very good. Almost 100% smoked wheat in that beer. Very low alcohol, 2.5 to 3.5% ABV. What's that, Jeff?
Oh, I was just wondering if in Iceland they make a Watzer, which is 100% smoked whale testicles.
Huh. I'll have to look into that.
Hey, I do have a couple questions from some folks that are watching live. Do you mind if I just fire those at you, John?
Fire them out.
So Wen, who is Green Lake Girl on Twitter, says or is asking, does it smell smoky when you open it? And what kind of smoke are we talking about? Is this barbecue house or like forest fire?
It's more, I didn't get a huge smoke aroma when I opened mine up, although over the glass, it's more like a combination of barbecue smoke and forest fire. There's a little bit of char in there in the aroma, but it's not a, forest fire is kind of acrid. I don't get that acrid kind of thing. This is more, more measured, but there's a little bit of that char type of that wild kind of smoke flavor or aroma to it.
Okay. And then Dimitri, one of our newer patrons and tavern members, was asking, what do you look for when you're picking out smoked beers, and where the hell can I find these things?
I got mine at I got two of them at Total Wines, and there was a couple more that I could have, but I didn't. The Bach version of this one was available. Plus, there was another that I didn't pick up. Um,
And I think, John, honestly, I think we're like kind of a month out from them really starting to show up, aren't we? Isn't this more of a wintertime kind of?
for the American palate, yeah, this is a wintertime type of thing. Um, but I've this Schlenkeller is available all year round. If you have a specialty beer store, you can find this.
And
Uh,
I presume we're gonna have a link up there in the show notes under welikedrinking.com/ uh, episode page podcast /podcast, with at least the name, because I know that we all butcher those German names pretty bad. I did want to follow up that, while I know that I've seen smoked beers in the past, this was the first time that I was ever going out to search them out, and I was texting you two knuckleheads yesterday about how many different places I had to stop at
right.
in order to find one. And it was interesting, the conversations that I was having, because a lot of these were finer beer retail establishments, and I was surprised how many times people went, huh?
Really?
Like, it was really odd, like, to get that reaction, because I'm like, I know that I've seen them around. I think it's just not on people's minds, at least right now. And so I do have a prediction. In about a month, when it's more of like smoked porter season, I know in my neck of the woods, I'm going to see a whole lot of them, because instantly they all were like writing stuff down and like thinking about ordering them. So, everybody, you can thank me for you getting smoked beers.
And I'll add to that Alaskan is one that I would look for, because
Yeah.
pretty widely available, and it's one of the, if you search for smoked beers, it's one of the names that you see pop up quite often. So that would probably be one of the first ones that you'd be able to find.
And I do also think it's possible, for many of you out there, you might have seen these and your eyes just glazed over them, especially when you see the Alaskan, and even like the German Rauch beer that John's talking about. Like, the label looks familiar to me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Yeah, you've I don't know, you guys, I don't know, our YouTube um associates here can see this, but I would venture to guess most people have seen this label at some point, and maybe
yeah,
they were scared away by all the German on it. I don't know.
the places that have like larger regional sections, like in California, I can't believe I'm saying this, Bevmo, but also Total Wine would have that, and you might want to look around, like a Whole Foods. You might come across like that
Yeah,
one, like the German ones.
Whole Foods generally has a really good selection. This type of thing from now and again. There's a couple other things I would want to talk about.
Yeah, let's get back to John's info.
So we talked about rock beer, we've talked about Gratzer, but there's a whole brewing culture in the Baltic states. It includes, northern Germany, around farmhouse ales that they did their own maltings in Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, Norway, Sweden, where they did their own maltings, and some of those farmhouse ales had a smoky component to it. Even Sati is a famous style from that area of the world that doesn't so much use that anymore. So if you were fortunate enough to be in Scandinavia and had a Sati, you might not get that smoky flavor, but back in the day it did. But there is a whole culture around this type of farmhouse brewing that could use these smoked malts, that you should really look up Baltic brewing styles. And one of the most interesting ones is called Keptinus. which is a Lithuanian baked beer. They put the mash into a box and they bake it in an oven to get it to the right temperature to mash the grains. And then they take it out and boil it a little further, add some hops, and then cool it off to ferment it. And that's a really, really cool article to read. Keptinis is spelled Keptinis. And you just look that up and just look up farmhouse brewing in Baltic Europe. And it's really, really super interesting stuff. But those are other styles that have a smoky component to their flavors.
Wow. That I really appreciate the transparency. I'm glad you're not just throwing up a bunch of smoke and mirrors. I've got a whole list. I'm crossing them off, by the way.
All right, let's taste these buggers.
Let's taste them. Jeff, why don't you take us out?
Certainly. Yeah, so again, this is the Seven Sharks A Circling Holiday Imperial Porter from Karl Strauss Brewing. And I want to say that there is, it's brewed with a blend of, caramel and smoked malts. For some reason, for a second, I was like, did they put caramel in it? Like, no, these are caramel malts and smoked malts. And on the nose, there is this general like smoky type of component, but I'm also getting like a lot of like deep like chocolate and cocoa powder type of notes, and maybe that's the smokiness too, like the smokiness along with the chocolatiness. It's like when you open up like a packet of powder to make some hot cocoa, when you first pour it in dry into your mug and it plumes up into your face. I'm getting a little bit of that on the nose, and I'm sorry I overlooked the color here. It's dark. So let me just try this palette here real quick. You know, something I was almost fearful of, and I think obviously this is going to change depending on the style. This is, because it's an imperial porter, it's very boozy by nature. And you know, I would expect like some chocolatey and some coffee type of notes as well. By the way, we should look up later when hashtag World Porter Day is coming up, because this might be a nice beer for that as well. But I was fearful that maybe the smoke was going to be too aggressive. It's not at all. This is very pleasant. I know that our guest last week, John Hall, hates it when people use the term balance when they talk about beers. But I will say that all these different flavors are very much complementing each other. You know, while this is a boozy beer, it's not overtly or aggressively alcoholic. It's just nice and kind of like warming. So it's got this winter warmer type of sensation, but it's not. I've had some winter warmers where it was like all booze and then it just thins out. But I think the smokiness gives like a nice body in terms of the mouthfeel, in terms of the overall impression on the palate. And it's this nice lingering, just really, it's pleasant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
I think like, like for me, it's like, this is the first porter I've had in months. And it's like, it's this kind of welcome home. This like, God damn, I forgot how good porters are. And so there's this very, I've kind of missed you kind of feeling going on with the drinking this one.
Yeah, man. Totally. It makes you want to smoke 2 brews in the morning.
right.
Smoke 2 brews at night. What? Yeah, it's delicious. This
All right.
is great.
John, what do you got cooking there?
So I've got the Marzen that I opened before, and I smelled that for when, and it really does have that nice. What I was really trying to gather is the fact that, if you've been camping and your clothes smell like a nice fire,
Yes.
and that's it, but not yeah, I've got to wash them because I don't want to smell like this forever, but it's not overwhelming. It's like how your clothes smell after the first night of camping, not the second night after you haven't showered for a couple days. So,
well, that's good.
But there's a little bit of maltiness on the nose.
Yep.
And I've had a couple of sips already because I've been enjoying my Lebanon bologna, my liverwurst on water crackers, even though I don't like it that much, and Marley's getting some of that. But the taste is it's not all smoke, but smoke is 80% of what's going on here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the color on this is really, I'm not sure what color for this is on a beer. I mean, it's not as dark as a porter. It's a deep, deep amber is what that is. It's almost like a red, but a little bit darker than a red.
Okay. Stacy Louise Briscoe Bites would tell you that it looks like aged blood.
There you go. Hey, Stacy, how's your Audubon's warbler? Anyway, she had a bird fly into her window today. Anyway.
I guess the smoke got in the bird's eyes.
Yes, it did. So anyway, the smoke is 80% of it, but the other 20% is, I would say, 15% malty and 5% perfect balance on the carbonation. So what that does is it's clean. The smoke lingers. It's a long finish, but it's not cloying. It's not overpowering. And just the perfect amount of carbonation. I mean, these guys have been doing it for a couple hundred years. I would hope they get it right. And certainly they have. So the carbonation at the end helps to level out that smokiness and kind of clear some of it away for your next sip. I'm digging it, because that Kaiserdom I had about 5 or 6 years ago was undrinkable to me. This is good stuff.
Yeah. And I think, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I feel like I just have to kind of follow up on this. Is you're talking about a brewery that's getting doing smoky beers right, and then you mentioned a one that you tried a while back that was horrible. Like, what do you think is really the difference there between like a smoke beer that can just be like classic and archetypal, as opposed to one that just they shouldn't have even tried?
Well, Kaiserdom's been in business for hundreds of years as well. So it's just, I think maybe my palate wasn't as educated at that time. Maybe, it could be a number of different factors. It could have been a bad bottle. It might have been sitting on the shelf for a long time. You notice all of these beers are in really dark bottles. I do believe that smoky flavor can probably take a pretty bad turn if it's in a clear bottle, which leads me to another beer that I couldn't finish, which has a smoky component to it. And that's called Adelscott, which is made in Alsace-Lorraine region of France. And that's made with peat smoked malts like Scotch. And that came in a clear bottle, and that came in a small clear bottle. I think that was like a 7-ouncer, and I couldn't even finish that. It was just horrible. But I think it was light struck. I think there was some problems with it. I just, I wouldn't drink this every day, but I would certainly, on occasion pick that up. Why not?
So I'm wondering if maybe we could. I'm wondering if maybe we could like fabricate like a nice outfit for John Ruyak to wear, and we can do like a PSA, and he could be Smokey the Beer, talking about like breweries that aren't doing it correctly.
Oh my goodness! Oh, remember that picture I took the last week of the bagel with lox and cream cheese on it? That with this, holy shit!
That would have to be amazing. And by the way, this Seven Sharks a circling is going great with both of these pizzas. I'm really happy with that as well.
Seven sharks are circling. All right, so this smoke brush porter, like I was saying a few minutes ago, it makes me. I'm mad. It's been so long since I've had a porter. I've been a lot of pale ales and IPAs over the summer, but it's time to get back to the porters. And to Wen's point, on this, I get a little bit of that campfire kind of aroma is what I get coming off of it. But it's very mellow. Like it's really low key in there. Like I don't know how much of a percentage they use of smoke malts for this, but not a real overpowering kind of sense that you get out of it. I get that malty characteristic that John was speaking of. I get a little bit of that chocolate, a little bit of that coffee, all those kind of things that you're looking for out of a porter. And then just on the tail end, there's this little hint of campfire. Like it's the next campfire over when you can't get your fire started because you've got wet camp or something. Yeah, man.
John, have you ever tried to make a? I'm sorry, Jeff. You're still tasting.
Go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead.
No, I was just wondering, like, have you ever tried to make a smoked beer, John?
No, I have not, but we've discussed a couple of ideas at Lizard Tail that I don't want to give any secrets away. So,
ooh, dun dun.
So essentially, what you're saying is you're singing the same old song. We don't smoke malts in my brewery.
So, yeah. So it's a porter with a little bit of smoke on it. So all the things you expect out of a porter, it's nice and refreshing. It's light. The malt kind of carries through the finish a little bit. Kind of on the tail end, I may get a little bit of the smoke, or I may just be wanting to get a little bit of the smoke. But it's definitely not, it's not an 80% or like what John is drinking there. This is, a 5 to 10% kind of smoke kind of play to it. But other than that, it's just a delicious porter, and this bomber stands no chance of making it through the end of the episode. So that happened with that. All right, Jeff, or any of our viewers, any other questions that you may have for John about smoked beers?
I just wanted to point out that this Alaskan's going to get open up in a minute, and they use alderwood to smoke their malts. But there's other breweries that, particularly in California, that is doing stuff with manzanita and other places with cherry.
I'm a big fan of manzanita.
Yeah.
It comes from the Spanish word for tiny apples. So when you see the little red dangly things, it's a manzanita.
The bears like to eat them.
Oh, like the football team?
Yeah, maybe them too.
Sure. They don't eat W's. So
all right, let's John, was there anything else to that?
Yeah. No, I don't, food.
Thank you for the information, man. I mean, that was really good information. I really hadn't thought of it as a breakfast beer, but yeah, I totally see it now that I'm drinking it.
I could totally see that. And it's weird. This might be one of the, maybe it's just because I'm drinking something in this like imperial porter realm, and I'm thinking about stouts, and I'm thinking that this is like the carryover. It could be your nightcap. It could also be your breakfast. That's what I'm looking at with this style. And I know things are going to change. Like if you're drinking an authentic Rauch beer, then, it might be a different play, but I can see that with mine. Mine is from dusk to dawn.
This is more light. This is lighter bodied. And I've always, for me, I've always said porter is the breakfast beer.
Yes.
But this Rauch beer Marzen style thing, a little lighter bodied. So if you're having a heavy breakfast with some breads and eggs and sausages and maybe some roasted vegetables or something like that, this isn't going to weigh you down.
Yeah.
So
Or
we do,
like, and also if you just happen to be like stuck in an airport in Frankfurt, Germany, and your only options are brats and pretzels and mustard, like I think that'd be a nice pairing too.
There you go.
They're very efficient.
We do
If you want a snack, your only options are brats and pretzels.
you have another question from a viewer. So Annette asks, let me make sure I have it right here. Let me get the full glory of her question. Do smoked whale testicle beers taste smoky or smell smoky?
I would envision that they would. There's
Yeah,
going to be
that's-
no salinity as well. But like, I will say, so the first time I ever even heard of a smoked beer was back when the Esquire network still existed and Brew Dogs had a TV show, and I think they did something where like maybe they were in Kansas City, and they did like a smoked meat beer. So they were like smoking a brisket and then having that go out over the malts. And I think maybe even the fat was dripping on the malts. Like, you know, they did some crazy stuff on that show. I love that show so much.
And you know that Icelandic beer we were talking about, those whale parts were smoked over sheep dung, I think. So I really hope that none of that aroma from that fire would seep into.
I wouldn't want that in my clothes, would I?
But, you know,
We need to get Bjork on the show to describe what it tasted like.
all right.
It was very good. It was good beer.
If we've devolved to that, it must be time for Booze News. We discuss interesting, noteworthy, or stuff that's just going to make us mad, or idiot stuff, or dumb stuff. Who knows? John, you're leading the charge this week.
So, cruising the news this week, I came across this story that actually popped up today. There's a brewery in Los Angeles, and I've actually read about these guys before. And Eagle Rock Brewing is in Los Angeles, and they were, I think, the first brewery in Los Angeles in 60 years. And they've really been at the forefront of trying to educate people about craft beers in the Los Angeles area. And they put together this women's group to learn more about craft beers, where they, I think they pay a fee and they'd come in and give these women that wanted to learn about beer a flight of beer and go through the beers and answer a question about the beers. And they would have these classes on I think a semi-regular basis. Well, some dude called up and asked if he could, pay to be in this tasting, in this educational forum, and they said it was for women only. So the dude sued and won, saying that it was discriminatory against men, that that he couldn't attend this thing, and that now the brewery's on the hook to pay the fine, or they settled out of court. That's what happened. I forgot about that. I read that. They settled out of court because they just didn't want to go through all the legal rigmarole of dragging this through the court system and maybe losing anyway. So,
right. Because the government, whatever body it was that was in charge of reviewing this, said, yeah, there's a case here. So you either have to go to trial or pay this fine.
Yep. So they ended up paying the fine and settling before trial to make this go away. So fortunately, they set up a GoFundMe page and they've raised quite a bit of money, $15,000 at last count, from small business and women's groups, thankfully, that are helping them through this. So, man, even in craft beer, there are people that are unimaginably horrible. Just why? Yeah,
this is like, I don't know. I mean, okay, I guess technically there's a point here, but you're just being a jackass if you're doing this. I mean, this is just so infuriating. Like, they even talk about it. If you've been a bartender before and you've seen it, or if you've been out, you've seen it, where a man and a woman come in, the woman maybe asking questions, maybe trying to get information about what she may want to try, and douche boyfriend or husband or whatever is like, this is what you want, bleh. And this is an environment where women may not feel comfortable, and this is giving them that opportunity to come in and learn and be amongst them, being amongst other ladies, where they don't have to feel like they're being looked down on or judged or anything else by some dudes. And then some just jackal has to call up and be like, no, I want to. And he didn't want to go. This jackass did not want to go.
Had no intention of going.
He was looking to sue from the very beginning and trying to get a payout. And unfortunately he did. So screw that guy.
Yeah, dude. Guy was just looking to, pretending to be offended, like looking for a place to champion his cause. There's a great parody of this on Portlandia. I think it was like the very last season. Like they had like these two characters that they were like, hey, what about men? And they had like this whole music video about it. It's like, come on, dude. Like, this is so ridiculous. Like, it's like, you know what it is? It's like when a little kid complains to their mom or dad, like, how come there's Mother's Day and Father's Day, but no Children's Day? Fuck you, kid. Every day is Children's Day. Just like every day is white, heterosexual man day. And like, the thing is, it's like, get the fuck over it. Like, dude. Get over it.
Yeah. All he succeeded at doing was making us look worse.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No. Congratulations, bro. You might have gotten $5,000. Maybe it was 10. But you sold your soul, dude. Like, what is that really worth? And like, yeah. You are a straight up troll. You're worse than like a patent troll that just like, waits, just fucking creeps in and waits to like buy up a patent as soon as it expires and then go ahead and sue. Like, there's some guy recently that he was like, I own the patent for podcasting, and he started like suing. He's like, I'm just going to start from Adam Carolla and Mark Maron and work my way down the list and see how much money I can get. It's like, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you fucking troll.
Dude,
fuck. It's explicit now.
Dude, F you for making this an explicit episode because you're that much of an asshole. So
you're just some, what Wen would call some rando in a bar. You're just some rando.
And you deserve no more of our time. So Eagle Rock Brewing, right?
Yeah. I think we should all go to Eagle Rock Brewing just to support them and buy a bunch of beer and
support Eagle Rock.
Yeah. John, do you have the link to their GoFundMe that you can put in the show notes?
Oh, I think I can pull it out of the article, and I'll do that.
Find that and put it in that show notes. So if you're interested in throwing them a couple bucks or $5, after you donate to our Patreon page, of course.
Yeah. Hey man, we'll fight this rando also.
Yeah, man, we will.
Yeah.
If you'd like to check out the show notes, and we'll make sure there's a link there to where you can give a little bit of money to Eagle Rock Brewery to let them know that they should go ahead and continue to have ladies brew days. And to Eagle Rock, let dudes in. Just their brewery is the men's bathroom. They can go sit in there. Serve them there. All right. Anything else on that, guys? I think we.
Yeah, let's not give this asshole any more airtime.
What a anus face. Like, what's he doing next? Like, he signs up for English classes at the local college, and like he's fluent in English, and they're like, dude, this is for English language learners. Fuck you, I'm suing. Like, fuck you, fucking troll.
All right. Well, let's move on from that D-bag to bump, 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 bump.
Oh shit.
You
Can we just skip fantasy football?
No, you
Now
cannot.
till, like the end of the season.
Sure, that's fine. We can do that. So then if we're going to do that, let's move into
No, I'm losing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm losing.
Yeah, you are.
I'm losing. I'm losing bad. I'm gonna be losing to is Holy Pope the person who doesn't even set his lineup?
Yes.
I'm predicted to lose this week too. I'm gonna lose. I'm losing. I'm just a big loser. Congratulations, Jeff.
What's that?
You're 6-0-1. You're in first place still. I'm a loser. John somehow. And here's the thing. I've scored the 4th most points in the league. I am currently in 10th place. I'm going to sue your ass.
Wait.
Oh, folks, we had so much fun with this the last couple of days on our group me page.
I tell you, I'm more excited that Jeff's in 10th place than that I'm in first place.
Oh, that's so funny.
It is.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Fine then.
I got a tough one. Smoking
Good
ball.
thing I'm bringing comedy to the goddamn show.
All right. Your pain is entertainment for everybody, Jeff. So let's move into Ask the Panel, where you get to ask us a question about wine or beer or what the fuck, football. Let's see. This week, Dimitri asks, who is watching the show right now. Dimitri asks,
By the way, real quick, Dimitri did bring it up to a tie because he had Sterling Shepard score 21 points on Monday night. So congratulations. Hey, congratulations, Dimitri. Everybody's having fun. I wish I could celebrate a tie. I wish I could.
There's been quite a few ties this year. Anyway,
There's been a lot.
Dimitri,
I haven't been part of any of them. I'm losing.
Dimitri asks, what are some of the best post-hockey beers? At least I think that's what he asked. We're playing a little bit of the telephone game from Dimitri to Jeff to me. And Jeff's such a loser that he probably can't get it straight.
I probably can't.
So Jeff can't answer any of these. So John, I'll toss it to you first.
Oh, to me, the best post-hockey beer was Dragon Blood Red, made by yours truly in his garage at 9,000 feet in Divide, Colorado. Used to drink that in the World Arena parking lot after games that we invariably lost 14-2. And so we'd probably drink the whole keg, and that was not good either. In the locker, if two parts of this, because usually there was in the locker room beer, and then there was the going out beer, because we usually went out after the game.
Right.
So in the locker room, I was not opposed to a Coors banquet beer. The other one that was a good one is that session beer, dark lager, comes in a 12-pack of cans. I just thought that was kind of good after a game of hockey. But afterwards, at a restaurant or a bar, I seem to always go to either like Odell's 5-barrel pale ale, or because that was what 5.6% ABV. Needed to kill some pain. And then that was pretty much my regular.
Yeah, it was really the lighter kind of styles because you were sweating pretty hard. You'd had a pretty good workout. You were either super happy or super pissed off when got over with. And so it was usually pale ale. Even, I'm not going to lie, drank a lot of PBR in those locker rooms. But, pale ales, pilsners, those kind of drinks were best in the locker room. And when we got out, I was usually looking like stouts or, like a 1554, like a Scottish ale or something.
1554. We drank a lot of those at, what was that place?
Southside Johnny.
Southside Johnny's.
Yeah.
So listen, mofos.
Hold on.
Although I would never play hockey.
The sport.
That's a sport. That's a sport for people who ride ice skates.
If you ever, hey folks, if you ever meet us in person, because we won't talk about this on the show, but if you ever meet us in person, ask us about the legend of Southside Johnny's.
Oh, geez. So, anyways, I did play. Hey, man, I played fairly competitive novice adult slow pitch softball. So, I think I'm qualified to speak on something like this. And yeah, I would just get a pitcher of Coors Light because it was cheap and refreshing. I was a Coors Light man for a really long time. And if you watch like some early episodes of Stay Rad Wine Blog TV or read some of my early writings, like whenever I did talk about beer, it wasn't uncommon that I would bring up Coors Light. If you're sweating a bunch, I think a nice like macro light lager is awesome. Oh, I did want to bring up something else since Dimitri asked the question. You didn't have Sterling Shepard. Your opponent did. You got tied. You got served. I'm sad. I have 100 more points than you, and you're ahead of me in the standings. F you, Dimitri. I hope you get stuck in another airport.
That's like a guarantee, isn't it? All right. All right. Good stuff, guys. Oh man, this one's gone quick. I'm not gonna lie. This was a bit of a fun episode, but we've reached it. It's time for me to call. Last call. Time to clean house and lock the doors. You know what we do here, folks? We're looking for your help in some way. So, Jeff Solomon.
Rolling down the street, smoking malts, sipping on hella brews. What?
I don't know. Just do what you got to do there, Solomon. It's
Sorry.
Your show, after all.
It sure is. Hey, man, have y'all considered following us on your favorite social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook? Just search for We Like Drinking. And by the way, while you're in Facebook, you may as well join our private exclusive club, which is called The Tavern. So just look for We Like Drinking The Tavern in Facebook. We're also on Twitter at We Like Drinking 1. That's the numeral 1 tagged at the end of it, because there's some jerk that is We Like Drinking, and I don't think they've posted a single thing ever. I bet you he is the kind of guy that asked to be part of a women's only beer tasting, and then he goes, "I'm gonna sue."
So John Ruyak, if the folks are listening and they've got some opinions on what they're hearing, they vented at us or praised us on the social media channels, but they really want a forum where everybody can hear what they have to say. Where can they go to let us know what they think?
Well, you go to Apple Podcasts, or otherwise known or previously known as iTunes, and I think we're the only place where you can give a 5.1 star review.
It is. I paid extra for that.
Awesome. That helps, move the average up. So do that 5.1 star review.
And while you're there, it's super easy. You go into iTunes, you search for We Like Drinking, you click the Get Red Bird, then you click 5 stars. While you're there, there's a little section below where you can write a little something or other.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. We like those. We read them on the air. If we can figure out who you are, we'll get in contact you and we'll get you some free swag as well. And then if you've done all that and you're like, I need to do more.
There's more.
So much more I can do. You could become like some of our favorite Patreons. You can become like Alice, like Dolly, like Jeff, like Dimitri, like Sloan.
Hey, Dolly, we haven't heard from you in a while. Send us an email.
Like Jason, Val and Steph, all of our favorite supporters. By joining us in the Patreon program. Visit welikedrinking.com/pledge to find out. For as little as $1 a month, you get access to the after party. For $5 a month, you get, oh my goodness, at $5, it just the lid comes off. You get Jeff Solomon's award-winning guacamole recipe, and it's not just a recipe. You get a video
It's
with
a lifestyle.
showing you how to make his award-winning guacamole.
I might even show you how to wear a rag over your shoulder like a Jew.
You get access to John Ruyak's coconut porter brew recipe. You get to vote in smoked beer. I mean, this is why we're drinking smoked beer, because of our patrons letting us know what they want to drink. You get access to videos early. You get access to the show early. You get the monthly what's it called, after party. At $7 you get a free T-shirt. At $10 you get to direct us on what we drink. It just goes on and on. So visit welikedrinking.com/pledge and find out how you can help keep the lights on and keep the show going to 201 episodes if we make it that long.
Yeah. Can I just say another way just to interact with the show and just have fun with it is we record every Wednesday night around 7:30-ish Pacific time, because I know most of you that matter are in the Pacific time zone. And I have to say, I'm just watching Wen and Dimitri just have a blast, like talking trash. I'm just gonna read this for you, okay? Wen says, I'm rooting for these guys to get their haircut budget back. Things are looking a little hairy scary tonight. Dimitri says, I think Jeff is pledged not to get a haircut until he wins a fantasy matchup. So it might be a while. I say this in the nicest way. Fuck you guys.
I mean, Jeff. You are looking a little grisly. I mean,
Halloween's coming up, and I need options.
All right. You can also, that was a lot of information we gave you guys. So it's time for a little bit we like to call, what is it? Wait, who subscribed? Where I give these guys a quote from someone fictional or non-fictional, and they try to tell us what movie it's from. All right. Such an easy one this week for two reasons. One, I had to come up with it at the last minute. And two, Jeff Solomon was telling us all these stories before the show that got me thinking about this one. So here we go. You can't handle the truth. All right. I think John Ruyak, you get to go ahead and win it this week.
Well, I know it's Jack Nicholson saying it to Tom Cruise, but I don't remember the name of the movie.
Oh my Lord, are you creepy? All right, Jeff Solomon. I can hear Wen and Dimitri
screaming at the.
All right, Jeff Solomon, what is it?
You want answers?
I
think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. There's walls or something. It's a Few Good Men.
That's right. Excellent movie. And moving on, you can also find the show notes for this episode with all the links to the stories or mentions we had at welikedrinking.com/podcast, or swipe right on your phone. All right, so it's the time. Fun episode, guys. And I think our listeners are probably happy because for the first time in like a month, it's not an hour and 15 to 20 minutes long. But it's time where I get to say, Okay, panel, let's take one last trip around this table and get some final thoughts before we shut off the lights. John Ruyak.
Try smoked beers. They're not as heavy as cork glue-on plasma. So that's, if you want to read something crazy about how something as big as a caramel cube can weigh as much as the top of tree line at Pikes Peak and zillions of tons, yeah, just drink a smoked beer instead of blowing your mind with math. Yeah, it's better.
The hell'd you put in your smoked beer, Jeff? Jeff Sullivan.
Stop the music now. If you smoke like I smoke, you're feeling fine like every day. And if you're drinking these brewskis, WLD will regulate. Remix. Pew, 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 pew. Smoke on the water. A fire in the sky. Bam, 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 bam. Bring it back.
We all came out to Montreux.
All right. So listeners, thank you for that. I would love to hear if you have had or are planning on having a smoked beer. And I'm going to add a new level to Patreon that we get enough people at some level. Jeff has to stop singing. No, Jeff must sing after every episode. I think
I shan't ever stop. You can't pay me enough to shut up. You can't do it. You can try.
And with that, I'll say thanks for joining us at the We Like Drinking podcast,
where you'll never smoke alone.
People say I'm the life of the party 'cause I tell a joke or two.
Nothing was
Although I might be laughing loud and hearty, deep inside I'm blue. So take a good look at my face. You see my smile looks out of place. If you look closer, it's easy to trace
the tears.
That's,
I thought it was Tears of a Clown.
Tears of a Clown by
Smokey Robinson.
Smokey, get it?
All right, I'm gonna fluff it up a little bit more for Wen here.
Oh my god.
There we go.
Yeah, Wen says it looks like Jeff Eccles smoked a bowl or two. I don't know what that's about.
I mean, it's Colorado. That can happen just driving across the street. All right. Thank you, viewers, for hanging out and watching the show tonight.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Looks like y'all have fun. I can't keep up. Dimitri does say that A Few Good Men is the second best legal movie ever.
Ooh. Next to Paper Chase
or Legal Eagles.
You know, what's crazy is both of y'all have seen it. And I know that there was at least one Oscar awarded for this movie.
Was it what it was?
Philadelphia Story?
It was for Best Supporting Actress.
Oh, Marissa Tomei. Go! Yeah. Come on. What? Shit.
See, I like this better. Yes, A Different World. That was the Cosby Show spinoff.
No. What was that movie? Damn it. My Cousin Vinny.
Yes.
I've said it 3 times, John.
Oh, you did? When? I didn't hear that.
While you were going,
I just had to remember, I'm old.
The pudding pop.
It's a pudding pop. How many pudding pops is he getting in prison? Anyway.
All right. Awesome. Viewers, thank you so much. That was awesome having you, everybody. Bye, Jeffrey McKinney. Oh, I said his last name. He's going to get mad at me again. All right.
I say it all the time.
I know you do.